Hey everyone, I'm going to make this quick, but it's Stephanie Lodge. I just want to let you know that on this 111 day, we get to decide, are we victims or are we victors? And what I'm going to tell you here in Los Angeles, in the City of Angels, the light has the upper hand, even if it doesn't feel like that. There are absolutely dark force energetics running in the fires. The fires are some of them, let's call them energetically programmed. Think thought forms, emotional forms, things like that. And that's been confirmed by others that I know. So, as I've been saying all along, right, that this is definitely spiritual warfare. This is energetic, spiritual, conscious warfare. This is a consciousness frequency war first and foremost. So what do we do? What do we do in those situations? Do we fall into the fear? Do we stay plugged to the television and keep, seeing the images and symbols of grief and fire and fury, of winds and all that information that's constantly being pumped into the consciousness to co-create more and more of the same, more and more tragedy, more and more fire? And yes, they're trying to inform us and keep us informed, and that's important. But my recommendation would be to go to the apps, to read instead of watch, to not take the imagery into your consciousness. Why? Because you are a walking projector of reality. So if you think of yourself as taking in information, processing it through your own system, adding in your special sauce of trauma, drama, fear, and so forth that you have from previous experiences, amplifying that consciousness, and then literally gazing out your eyes and projecting it into reality, adding to the collective that's doing that as well, you now are projecting in the holographic assembly more and more of the same, right? So unless you have the ability to transmute, stay fully neutral and not add to it and do something about it by alchemizing it, and you consider yourself a universal protector and one who can do this, highly recommend unplugging from media right now. It is driving the consciousness. Everyone's glued to their televisions. This is part of the programming. The programming is the problem. Okay? So this is my message. This is my alert of guidance and get out. The way you can be of greater service is if you are outside the LA area, is just to see the LA area fully contained, the fire fully contained, in a giant halo field. And this means like a bubble of light. And imagine that there are angelic beings and even other types of light elemental beings. Think like beautiful dragon beings, streams of light that are very high vibrational coming in and neutralizing these fires. See beautiful, clear mists of water, rain, the angels of water coming in. Nothing like torrential downpours, because that would not be of service right now, but just enough rain to squelch the fires and support the firefighters. These are the types of images that can be proactive in these situations. These are the types of images I highly recommend when dealing with this type of urgent situation that is being manipulated to some degree by media. And I want to say this. It may be intentional, it may not be intentional. It may just be the patterns and the programs of consistently what we've done for years and what we're used to. The expectations are there to have news available on demand all the time. So it's not even about blaming those that do not know what they're doing, right? And it's not even about blaming those who might be manipulating it. It's really just about taking our power back, not waiting for leaders and others to do it for us, not waiting for a governor or a mayor or person to fix it for us, but for us to realize the power that we have to change our reality at any time, and that when we come into what I call collective celestial coherence, which means we are a coalition of powerful light-seated energetics. We have an energy within us that is powerfully creative. When we are plugged in, switched on, tuned in, fire-wired to the ultimate creator of our soul, that we bring that through our hearts, that we bring that through our intention, that we love people fiercely, but we also know that we stand for the light, and that's all that we stand for. That's all that we allow for is the highest frequencies and purest consciousness of ultimate love and immaculate grace, and the living light itself. When we know that, that is what our standard is, then everything else that does not meet that standard must fall away. And so this is what I've been really driving home since 2020. This is what my private group, a little bit like Special Ops, we go in and we do service work, has been doing all along to help us maintain or mitigate, let's just say, the loss of life in certain types of situations, because we are so powerful and yet we don't know that we're that powerful, right? But how do you know you are a valuable asset? Because why would the light and the dark be fighting over you, right? So just know that Earth is a valuable asset. You're a valuable asset. It's all hands on deck. It's everybody helping each other, not just themselves. What I've been finding really interesting in my own life is that oftentimes I'm in need, more so because I would be what's considered the victim, right? Like being in the middle of a fire zone and possibly needing to be evacuated, and like everything's a little bit nuts right now. And so let's say I call a friend and I'm just sharing my thoughts and feelings and this and that. And what I've been finding so interesting is that sure, they might give me 5 minutes of your time, and then it immediately turns to them and their needs are definitely not life-threatening needs, right? And I'm finding that what this is bringing up is a lot of the unresolved narcissistic elements that are within everybody. And so it is something to consider, is how much are you in service to self versus service to others right now, and how much can you give to others if you have the ability to give. Of course, if you are in the place where you've just lost everything and other things are going on, that's different. If you are in a state of scarcity, that's different. But what I'm talking about is if you can do something, are you doing something? And so do whatever you can to support, and that might just be reaching out to people who you feel could be in need of someone to hear them, someone to listen to them, because maybe they have to externally process their grief or their trauma or their PTSD or something else, right? So these are just some of the things I'm trying to bring forward right now in this moment to help people understand how we can be of better service to this situation, especially if you are in other states or even countries that are away from Los Angeles and you're looking at it and watching it burn and thinking, oh my God, that's so horrible. Well, yes, that is fact, that is truth, right? But on this flip side, what I would say, okay, let's look at it as Los Angeles is going through a major cleansing. There's definitely restructuring that's required. It is definitely going to cost certain valuables and homes and even lives to get this job done, and it's not pretty, and it's not comfortable, and it's not okay. In many ways, people would judge it as saying it's not okay. But what I'm going to say is God does not make a mistake. Spirit does not make a mistake. The soul systems of every single person involved in this exercise called the LA Fires did not come here by mistake. Those who are here are part of this equation for a reason. So when we realize that, we trust that everything is happening for the highest and best appropriateness for our soul's greatest evolution and refinement, then when we trust in that, we can step into the next level of our abilities to transmute, alchemize, harmonize, and resolve these realities. But when we are still operating from a place of fear, when we are still operating from a place of victim, when we are still operating from a place of uncertainty and insecurity and scarcity and the oh my God and the guilt and the shame and the suffering and the survivor's remorse and all the things, all of those lower, denser energetics of consciousness, when we're still operating from that, we become part of the problem of why this still exists in our reality. So my invitation today is, yes, be truthful and authentic with how you're feeling, but recognize that you have the ability to bounce up back into a high vibration through the power of your decision. I call this your bounce rate. Yes, you're going to have those dips. Yes, you're going to have these situations. We all do. I went through it last night. I'm evacuating potentially, so I'm packing up things. I'm looking at my house going, is this going to be the last time I spend the night in my own house? Like, there were thoughts on my consciousness, and I had to go to, these are just material things. There's nothing here that I really, need to carry with me in life. This is just the nice to haves, not the need to haves. My puppies, my family, that's my need to haves. So just know that we are getting reprioritized from making money our God, the material success our value, and all that we own our worth. And as we move through these times, I invite you to consider recognizing and remembering the truth of who you are, the immortal, eternal nature of consciousness that you are, that this will not be your first or last rodeo, right? So I invite you just to join hearts, come into that mindset of love, see Los Angeles in a beautiful, peaceful state, see the people thriving, see everyone getting their needs met, the people on the street, the homeless, those on drugs, everybody, not just the people in harm's way right now, but everybody finding a path to liberation, to that personal sovereign state that says, I am joyful, I am comfort, I am peace and serenity and love and goodness and kindness. There is nothing I need, and therefore there is nothing I must take from others. Because if we are seeing a situation right now in this city where people feel that it is okay to go loot in arenas and areas where the fires have come and gone, or even places that have been evacuated, because they somehow think that getting that, extra jewelry or whatever it is that they're stealing is going to somehow save them or help them, we have lost our minds. And what I mean by that is they represent an aspect of our minds, the collective consciousness. They do not know who they are, clearly. They are like a virus or like malware in the machine, if you will, right? So just know, send them forgiveness, see them thriving, see them changing their mind, see them walking toward a neighborhood and then stopping and turning around and realizing it's not worth it. Just continue to see people making better choices for themselves because they realize they have fallen for the trap, they have fallen for the script, and they're playing their part, but maybe it's time to change things up a bit, okay? All right, so forgiveness is key. Ho'oponopono prayers are really good if you don't know it. Any variation of I'm so sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And just keep seeing yourself apologizing to the land, apologizing to Gaia for taking and taking and taking all her bounty and maybe not giving as much back as we could. Apologize to the ancestors and the indigenous ones that lost their lives in order for this country to be built in the first place, and tell them you're sorry and ask for forgiveness. Thank them for their wisdom. Thank them for all that they are bringing in now, and just send the love. All right, that is my request. That is my invitation. That is my mission. If you choose to accept it, that is my prayer. And with that, I just want to say thank you for all who listened to this point, and I send you much grace and ease through these fires. If you're here, I send you grace and ease. If you are witnessing, as you hold the place of witness and watcher, know that the power to bless it is yours. May all that I gaze upon be blessed would be the directive to give once you are witnessing the televisions and anything else you're witnessing. If it's heartbreaking, may all that I gaze upon be blessed, and that brings it into a higher state of frequency because you are owning your worthiness and your ability to transform. All right, that's it. That's all I got for today. I'm going to get back to my work here, but I just send you much love, and until we meet again, I am hugging you always. Bye for now.